Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we explore the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and the road ahead for their companies. I'm your host, Natalie Borowska, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced, the lessons learned, and the strategies fueling future growth. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Anna Shalray, who is the founder of Anna Shalray Holistic Health. She specializes in corporate wellness programs that boost employee thriving and business performance through targeted health strategies. She partners with women to optimize hormonal health, navigate complex pregnancies, and build resilience in women's health challenges. I'm so happy to have you on the podcast today.
I'm so grateful to be here, Natalie. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So I'm super excited to dive right into it. So what I like to do at the start of every podcast episode is I like to journey back in time. So take us back to before you started your business. What were you doing at the time and what made you start?
Yeah, prior to health coaching, I was working as a household manager and nanny in Los Angeles, where I watched firsthand the toll that undefined work-life boundaries can take on both family dynamics and personal health. You can't expect peak performance from depleted people, and that same push and pull played out in my own life at the time. I had this burning desire to help carry the load, which put me living in the hustle, battling LA traffic and long hours while feeling stressed out and overwhelmed and just completely neglecting my own well-being. But getting engaged served as kind of a wake-up call, it was a moment of self-reflection and a return to just simple mindfulness practices and nervous system regulation and nourishing movement, which is where I found my love for yoga and hiking and real food instead of kiddos' leftovers. And during that time, my metabolism was activated and I healthfully lost a lot of weight, but I gained so much more mental clarity and focus and energy that amplified my productivity and a sense of ease. That's what kind of made me ask the question of what had I done that made me feel this good, which led me down the path of studying holistic health and nutrition and lifestyle management coaching. And since then, I've held various leadership positions that range from like board positions and nonprofits to managing wellness studios and teams. And that highlighted how easy it is for your boundaries, even if you set them well, it's easy for them to slip. And a sense of like a loss of passion or a sense of self can occur when an organization's infrastructure doesn't properly support their most vital resource, which is that human energy that drives their success. So these experiences informed my people first approach and magnified the power of the ripple effect of top-down leadership when planning and organizing wellness programming that actually makes a sustainable impact on an organization's bottom line and future successes. So leaders modeling wellness as a company value first for true organizational culture change to happen. And that's really what my company now is all about.
100%. It's so important that the people in an organization like feel supported, especially when it comes to things like health and wellness, because that's like the most important thing. If you don't have your health, then how can you like work? How can you thrive? So it's great that you really have like that training ground, like based on your experience yourself. And then so with this, yeah.
Natalie, what's wild to me is going through that journey so early and kind of shifting my perspective into health and wellness, and then managing health and wellness like studios and teams, and still feeling that same push and pull. And what it came down to was the organization itself, the infrastructure, and how we work and how we do life within the company wasn't set up for actual people. Like, we're not robots. We have to have the support needed to create wellness as like a part of our like company value and work value and how we live and how we work in order to actually thrive. So that's really what it comes down to. Like, it's nice on paper and on SOPs, but what does that look like in a day-to-day experience as an employee and as a culture?
100%, because you can do like so much work yourself, but if the environment is like opposite to that, it's so important that like the environment coincides with that. So it sounds like that's what you really help like set up. And then so with this, so what particular businesses do you work with? So like who do you love working with?
I absolutely love working with companies and organizations that are aligned with the idea that people are our most important asset. So that people first, human first mentality, the companies that have, had the most success and the most incredible results working with me are the ones that have said, this is our vision and our values. Like we want to see our people thrive so that our organizations can thrive. There isn't necessarily a specific industry niche. It's really coming back to viewing people as an asset versus cogs,
100%, just having that same like mentality, because then they'll see like your work as an investment because that's part of their values. Awesome. And so like with this, so what does your core offering look like? So what does it look like to work with you specifically?
Well, originally my work was offered with like one-on-one health coaching, but over time I realized that the bigger impact was really upstream, helping companies create environments where healthier behaviors are actually possible. So today I work with organizations through corporate wellness workshops, team experiences, leadership coaching, and culture-focused programming that aligns wellness with their business goals like retention, engagement, and productivity. The problem that I see happen a lot is that they're viewing wellness programming as a perk instead of a strategic path forward to growth. So they'll offer like a yoga class or a meditation app or just like a 1 day event, but the underlying culture is staying the same. That like constant sense of urgency and after hours communication and lack of recovery is staying the same. So the real wellness and like the strategic shift happens whenever it's embedded into how we work, communicate, and recover. So the way that that kind of plays out in my current business model is that they might bring me in for like a workshop to kind of warm up and start the conversations around like stress management or sleep or movement or nutrition or some of those like wellness experiences like retreats. And then we get into longer term wellness surveys based on what not surveys, sorry, longer term wellness programming based on what the employees really express that they're deeply struggling with. And then we can start setting up quarterly or bi-weekly programming.
100%. It needs to be like embedded in the values to make like really have like that. I guess like you can say like return on investment because yeah,
Exactly.
as you
Yeah,
said, like the people
exactly.
need to thrive. So and then so with this, because I'm assuming like it's on like a big like a company like wide like big companies that you usually work with to really have that impact. So what do you do in terms of like lead generation to really be able to connect with those companies?
Well, right now, LinkedIn and referrals and word of mouth has been the biggest way to bring in new companies. I connect with HR leaders and people operations teams and company founders to really understand what their employees are actually experiencing. So we have like kind of some time on Zoom to connect and get to know each other. And so I can hear their vision and their values for their company and assess the current landscape culturally and like what's working and what's not, what motivates and engages their team's participation. And then from there, we explore programming that supports both employee well-being and their company's long-term goals like engagement and retention. So it all starts with that connection and introduction, and then the discovery of like what their needs are. I do have an employee wellness like needs survey so they can actually talk to their people. So we're not creating in a vacuum, we're doing it based on what they're actually saying they need. And then we can propose tailored programming to each of these companies.
I see. So it's like a very relationship-based approach, and that makes a lot of sense. And I think LinkedIn is definitely like the best platform to really utilize to connect with the right people.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you have like a very consultative approach because every company is like different, like with their goals, like what they want to
Mhm.
achieve. So it's important to really have that outline. So I'm assuming that's what your like sales process looks like, right? Is it like a first like call, or like talk a little bit more about that?
Exactly. It's that first call and getting to know them. And then typically I'm talking with an HR or, people operations team. So then I kind of give them the resources they need to gauge their team. But, internally, we also talk about like the objectives, like what is your turnover looking like? What does morale look like? Absenteeism, all of that. And then once we have data, then we can start understanding like financially, what can the company afford, packaging wise. And also, I think this gets lost a lot, but there can't be a one size fits all program because, like you said, every company is different. So if we have companies where we have an office team and then a team that's out on job sites, we can't meet them the same way as a team that's consistently working in the office. So really doing it based on what they're already doing versus making wellness feel like a separate task, a separate, thing to check off on an employee's to-do list. It's like, oh, well, we already have a meeting in place on this date. So either before or after that meeting, we can add this presentation in or add this team experience in, whether that's like food-based or movement-based or, team building based. So it's really making it streamlined. So it's an easy yes for everyone involved, from leadership to the employees themselves.
100%. Yeah, I love that consultative approach because, as you said, it's not like a one size fits all. It's all different for each company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, with like the next like 6 to 12 months, like what are your goals and what targets do you really want to hit in the coming year?
In my next 6 to 12 months, it's kind of the same thing I'm already doing. It's really just building those strong relationships and partnerships. I would say that I would love to see two more companies that are invested in long-term programming versus these one-off events, because that's where, first off, I came to this business to make the impact. And that's where I see the biggest impact happening, is in those longer term relationships.
100%. Because if you just have like one event, you really can't have that change that you're like seeking and having like that ROI. So yeah, it's great to really have those like long-term engagements to really have the impact that you're seeking. Because it sounds like with this business, that's what you're seeking yourself. That's very like part of like your values and your mission. And then what do you feel like are going to be the biggest challenges to getting your goals?
I think the biggest bottleneck right now is awareness and lead generation. Most companies recognize that burnout is an issue, but they're not connecting the dots that wellness is a strategic solution. So part of my work is helping to create that wellness and helping them have clarity between employee well-being and organizational performance.
I see. Awesome. And then final question before we log out. If you could say one thing to your younger self, what would that one thing be?
Ooh, everything you want is behind a conversation. So invest in those relationships, nurture them, build them, grow them early.
100%. Yeah, I love that so much. Yeah, conversations are 100% the way. And so, if our listeners want to find out more about what you do, where would be the best place to find out?
Yeah, absolutely. If anyone is an HR leader or a founder thinking about how to better support their team, I would absolutely love to connect with you. You can find me on LinkedIn, where I share resources on building healthier, more resilient workplaces.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. It's been such a
Thank you.
No worries. And if you are a business owner and you're looking to scale your business and you really want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we went from 0 to 30 million per year in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.